Greetings YouTube, it is I, Extra Guyver, bringing you an interesting video. Well, I hope it's interesting. But I've been thinking about doing this video for a while, even before a certain interview that ignited the fires of fanboys in anger graced the internet, to do with a certain Mike Costa. Now, the point of this video is to have a look back at the last 2 years of Transformers, which has mainly been his run. The good, the bad, and the oh good lord, it's crap. So, 2 years is a long time. He had taken over just as All Hail Megatron finished. So, here is the first trade of the ongoing for all mankind. Now, what I will say is the ongoing has been a very mixed ride for me. It has been the only Transformer long-term comic series I have ever considered dropping. I had a sense of a compulsive completist. I mean, eventually it got better and I went back and bought all the trades, but I did not start out buying all the trade. I just kept buying the singles. I did not buy the trades until things got better. You know, I had to hunt on Amazon to actually get this. How do I sum up this one? Well, let's talk about the art first. We have Don Figueroa's new art style. I don't like it. His attempt to moviefy Generation 1. Let's have a look. Where's that particular page? Yeah, the particular page that just shows you. Where is he? Ah, here we are. Yep, Don can't draw humans well, and I just don't like the design. You're not seeing it so bad with Brian because his mouth's covered. But trust me, the faces look terrible. I mean, you got grills for mouths. Looks horrible. Costa as a writer, he wasn't ready for an ongoing of Transformers. Yes, he says he was a fan, but I'm always cautious when I hear creators say that until they prove it on pen and paper. Now, there are some good points of this, but let's start with that. The biggest controversy in this, Prowl. I do not like what Costa did with Prowl here. Why? Because it flies in the face of his previous characterization. I'm sorry, Prowl would not risk his life to save a injured Decepticon from being murdered by humans. He would sit and watch and continue to observe. He couldn't be arsed. He would not try and sacrifice himself. It's not Prowl. That's Ratchet or Hot Rod. Not Prowl. However, he does pick up with issue 4 picks up what happened to Thundercracker's army, and that's actually quite good. Which makes it all the more jarring as to why is the rest of this so... Did the man just not get certain things? But if you think this is bad, well, it led into a mini series that makes me groan every time I look at it. Yeah, you can tell they can't really, because I bought it dirt cheap on Amazon. The Bumblebee mini, written by who is it? There you go. Xander Cannon. Art by Chi. Art's not bad, but it's inconsistent character design. He's depicting Bumblebee in his classic cartoon appearance, while Don, still in his G1 movie version, is still doing E.J. Sue's design. These two are happening at the same time. Yeah, Bumblebee is now leader of the Autobots, with Prime having left the position and the Autobots having voted him. An interesting concept, but it's never bloody capitalised on. Nobody does anything with it, neither Xander or Costa. Nothing's ever done with Bumblebee in charge. He has very poor development, and this whole issue, everyone's intelligence seems to have dropped. Like they've been hit on the head like this all the time. Everyone's so stupid. Wheeljack was Wheeljack an ass. And oh god, the badges. I'm sorry, but I've never seen such lazy writing as those badges that Skywatch tricked Bumblebee's Autobots into putting on. That allow them to force them into vehicle mode by remote, listen to everything they verbally say but can't pick what someone else in the room is saying. I thought they were recording and radio. No. What? It's a mess, and honestly, unless you see this for like a $5, only buy you this if you're a completist like me. It's a piece of shit. And I'm glad to see we've never seen Xander Cannon touch Transformers again. Now, so the first trade was so-so, the second trade was crap. This first year isn't looking good. Last Stand of the Wreckers. I have the single issues, I have the trade, I have pre-ordered the hardback edition. This is good stuff. Written by James Roberts and Nick Roche, art by Nick Roche, colours by Josh Bertram. With a bit of assisted art from Guido. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but I'm crap at pronouncing things. Go buy this. Go read this. You will go buy it and you'll go read it. Why? Because this is awesome. This is the only thing that picks up the aftermath of All Hell Megatron. Uses fan favourites The Wreckers with new members. And by the end of it, I loved every single new character that never had or hardly any Western fiction to them before. Overlord is a brilliant villain in this, and the new Wrecker members are lovable. It's a shame most of them don't survive, because to sum it up, it is a story about good people dying pointless, stupid ways. And it is awesome. I'm not saying any more, because you need to read this, Transformer fans, if you have not read it already. Go buy Last Stand of the Wreckers. And I continue to sing the praises of James Roberts and Nick Roche. Especially James Roberts, considering he's writing one of the 2 new ongoings in 2012. And I expect great things from him. So yeah, this I bought. In fact, I was recommending it to people at Auto Assembly for the last 2 years to go read it. Now, however, comes this travesty. The International Incident Trade. This is the story that almost convinced me to drop the ongoing. Okay, first off, Spike, without any tech and a bottle of acid, manages to kill Scrapper by himself. No! Why did Costa think we wanted to read about Super Spike? It's called The Transformers. I want to read about Transformers. It's what the book is called, not Spike and his amazing robot buddies. But the main story arc is a poor man's escalation. If you've not read Escalation, go read it. It's good. This is not. Characters are poorly done, and Guido, bless him, it's not his best art, and thankfully we know why, because for some reason editorial told him after he did the first dozen or so pages in his style with Don's designs to go back and draw them in their cartoon designs. No, we don't mind the artists having different styles, but I want consistent character designs. You don't see Spider-Man swapping his costume design between every issue. Why should the Transformers? So, no, this is crap. Do not buy it. Do not buy it. And, well, we've nearly... Well, next in the year came this. The Ironhide Mini, ironically also written by Costa, but it's substantially better than his ongoing work, as he brings Ironhide back to life who killed in issue 1 of the ongoing. All I can say is, Casey Collins, John Elefanti, gorgeous, gorgeous art. No, I mean it. Gorgeous, gorgeous art. It's worth it just for the art. The story starts off well, the first 2 issues are fine. 3 and 4, it fumbles. And again, it's showing Costa's, one of his biggest problems is pacing. His pacing is slow. So when you give him 4 issues, all of a sudden he rushes towards the end to try and conclude things, and it comes off rushed and poorly implemented. But this is alright. It's worth a read. It's not essential, it's not Last Stand of the Records, but it's worth a read. Now, you may have noticed I mentioned about Prowl's characterization. Well, if I find it in my single issues, because it hasn't been traded yet, because it will be traded with Police Action, where apparently it was meant to come in, you have this Spotlight Prowl, which was released in an attempt to address Prowl's out-of-character behaviour. It's well written, but it's not the direction I like Prowl's character to go in. Prowl is meant to be the bastard we love to hate. Not a soppy I must save the humans. It's alright, but don't go out of your way to track this down. It had little impact because Prowl reverted back to true form later on. Why? Because the fans said that's the Prowl they prefer. And we got the Prowl we preferred. Well, and there was one last thing we had that year, first year. The Drift Me series, written by Shane McCarthy, who wrote All Hail Megatron. Apparently this was held back until it was released. Don't know why. It's a damn fine story. I enjoyed it. Alex Mine does some excellent art. We got some good coloring by Josh Perez. And Shane has a nice 4-issue story. Wraps it up brilliantly. Uses continuity effectively. Introduces us to the Atlas and the Third Faction. And we get Drift's backstory. We also get Lockdown brought into the G1 universe. The first time. And yeah, I fully recommend it. This is Drift's backstory. And it's worth a good read. So that's our first year. And it had a lot of crap, mainly from the ongoing. The minis were better on the whole part, aside from Bumblebee. And it's a bad sign when your minis are written better than your ongoing. So, where do we come after that? Well, we had in the second year Revenge of the Decepticons. Megatron finally comes back. First off, Nick drew the first issue. Fine, glad to see Nick. He's the first artist who said, yeah, I'm using the established character designs, not the ones I prefer drawing. Good on you, Nick. Can't have been easy to have drawn that Don Hot Rod design, but the man pulls it off. Again, Don takes over the main arc of the ongoing until he leaves in a hissy fit. And Alex Mine takes over, impersonating Don's style perfectly, while fixing it at the same time by toning down the complexity of the faces, showing that it can work if you keep the faces, because, oh yeah, we like our characters to be able to emote. You have to have characters that emote to get across emotion in a comic book where you've got still images. But overall, it starts off a bit meh. It's better towards the end, and yeah, it's fun read. And again, it was one I was recommending people that Auto Assembly last summer to read, saying the ongoing is getting better. Pick this up. It has its flaws. It's not perfect, but oh my God, Costa's writing was improving. Then we have Infestation. Infestation was an event that involved the robots and zombies in CVO IDW original franchises having a zombie attack that branches off into several of their licensed properties, attacking Star Trek the original series, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, and of course Transformers. Set just before International Incident. And yeah, the 2 issues doing the Transformers are fine. In fact, I enjoyed the whole thing of Infestation and would actually recommend reading the whole damn thing. And yeah, I enjoyed the 2 Transformer issues. Picks up the cut plot line. We have Ablett and Lanning writing this, and I was quite impressed by their first 2 issues. Hiroshi's art is brilliant, and as I said, the cut plot line's picked back up with Prowl and has consequences and is used to resolve it quite nicely. So I would pick it up. But well, I said I like Lanning's first entry in the Transformer universe. Then this came. Do not buy this piece of shit. No, I mean it. Heart of Darkness. I had high expectations for this series. Very, very high expectations based on their Infestation work. And it completely failed to deliver both writing and art. I have never seen such mismatched artists for Transformers. Cannot draw them to save his life. Everything is disproportionate, out of proportion. Fights are boring. Character dialogue is terrible. And it just loses itself and wades about in its own muck and sets things up that never pay off. This is supposed to build us up for chaos, and it fails on every point. I mean, it even shows an event from Space Opera from Galvatron's point of view, and again, fails to deliver. I do not recommend this. Do not buy. This is by far the worst bit of Transformer fiction IDW have produced. Yes, I rate this worse than the Bumblebee Mini or the Avengers crossover. This is by far the worst thing. Maybe because our expectations were so high. But it's pure crap. It took a 2 info dump in Chaos to explain the events of this so that they make sense. That's bad. So yeah, don't buy Heart of Darkness. But then we've got this trade, Chaos Theory, which is the Space Opera and Chaos Theory arcs from the ongoing. I recommend buying this. Space Opera, Poster again. We catch up with Rodimus, as he now insists on being called, since Megatron blew a hole in his chest when he got the Matrix back from him. So, from Starscream. And the Matrix has fixed him up, has some adventure in space, finds Wheelie, and we finally and also finds Ironhide and Sunstreaker touching base with the Ironhide Mini. Fun stuff. However, the real gem is Chaos Theory, issues 22 and 23. Why? Costa didn't write that. James Roberts did. And oh my god, was my mind blown. 22 and 23 are all about Megatron and Optimus Prime. And it's damn good. No, seriously, I bought both covers to each of the single issues that are designed to link up. That's how much I like. I don't normally do that. I did it for this and I bought the trade. And this is good shit. It's worth it just for 22 and 23. They are must reads. In fact, that's what I was telling everyone at Elder Assembly. I say, here's my singles. Have a read. You must read those issues. Am I going to go? No. Go out and buy this trade or try and find the singles on eBay. Because they're worth reading. Because they're damn good. However, that's it for what I've got in trade. The rest is now back to single issues. So, hang on, let's find our first story I've got is going to be collected with the Prowl Spotlight. Police action. Because the old gang then decided, well, with Brian bugging off to Cybertron, let's leave a few Autobots on Earth and wrap up the Earth plot line. So it went bi-weekly and would alternate between each plot, between each issue. So this is issues 25, 27 and 29. It starts off very, very well, police action, and falls down towards the end. I mean, okay, Swindle and Spike have been trading tech with each other, that's why Scarlet's got advanced tech. Where was the build-up? And again, the same with Jazz telling the humans to F off, we're going home. Where was the effective build-up? It was poorly done. And again, this shows Costa's strengths and weaknesses of a writer. He has excellent ideas, but poor build-up and implementation and long-term implementation of the ideas. He cannot weave multiple plot threads at the same time. He focuses on one. This, instead of being its own story arc, should have been a ongoing thread in the back of every ongoing issue and building up and brimming to a boil. Instead, got forgotten about till now, and it shows. And then we have Chaos, the big event book. It's okay. It has to clean up the mess of Heart of Darkness. That didn't help. It's okay. And you can tell how James Roberts was brought on to co-write this or script this. Not entirely sure. Andy Schmidt and Costa kept disagreeing what he was brought on to do. And you can tell his influence on it because continuity is tighter, much tighter in this. But apparently, Costa let James write the characters that he was going to use for his ongoing rather than properly communicating it. And it shows, because you can tell when James writes something and when Mike writes something. Because James's stuff is better. But overall, well, that and Living One Day, I like his art style, but sometimes it's hard to follow. And it's alright, but it's not groundbreaking like it was promoted. It's just although I do like the end image of Prime having saved Vector, but only to have a broken matrix in his hands. Yeah, it's alright. Could have been a lot better. Needed to be a lot better. Now then we have the last issue Costa wrote, which came out just before that interview. 31. Which is supposed to be an epilogue. It's a crap epilogue. Honestly, you don't need this issue. Why? Because Costa sets it 50 million years in the future, and you see Alpha Trion telling about past stories of the war and a very, very old Ironhide with a walking stick. And you've got all, I mean, Casey does some lovely art. You've got all these splash pages. Out of about 9 of them, only 2 actually refer to stuff that Costa wrote. The rest was written by other better writers. Yeah, it's so slow and poorly paced with dialogue, which has been Costa's consistent problem throughout his entire run. He takes his sweet time to get anywhere, and he drags it out with boring character interaction that I don't care for. So yeah, I've just gone through 2 years worth of Transformer comics. Now you're wondering, why have I not covered the dead? Well, there is one more comic. You know what? Before I get to that, I need to summarise my thoughts on Mike Costa. After that interview, I'm glad he's off Transformers. Why? Because he was never the right man for the job. He's an inexperienced writer. Yeah, okay, everyone likes his G.I. Joe Cobra. I've never read it, but it was co-written with apparently a more experienced writer. I wonder how much of it was really him and more the other writer. I think off topic anyway, but yeah. And Costa's not had the best of interaction with the fandom, and he bitched and moaned a bit about it on the Underbase podcast. Well, I had to say it, Costa, every fandom's like that. We do it because we're fans. and we're invested in these franchises. If you can't see that, then I don't know. But no. And the fact that he wanted to do a Spike mini if he ever came back, because that's a daft thing. I don't know why Costa kept focusing on humans when it's the Transformers. We want to read about the Transformers, not Super Spike. We never really got that. But, however, I want to end this video on a positive. So, to end it on a positive, there is one last issue that came out this year that ties everything up and sets the stage for the 2 new ongoings. It is The Death of Optimus Prime, written by James Roberts and John Barber. Now, you know who James Roberts is, I've mentioned this video, but you're thinking, who is John Barber? Well, he wrote the movie comics this year, and he came out of nowhere. Previously worked for Marvel as an editor and a writer, and oh good lord, he fixed the movieverse. He made me actually excited for the movie Dark of the Moon. Still a disappointment Dark of the Moon, but the man can write stories, fix continuity, and make it intriguing. First thing I said after reading his movie books was, get this guy on G1. He's coming on to G1. He's also now taken over Andy Schmidt's job as head editor, Transformers and G.I. Joe. Meaning I'm not going to have to worry about major continuity problems for the foreseeable future. And this issue proves it, because it's awesome. No, can't stress this enough. This issue is awesome. Written by John Barber and James Roberts, art by Nick Roche, and I believe, let me check, yes, colours by Josh Burcham. Go read this. This has to be read. And yeah, go read it because it's awesome. Right, this has been Extra Guyver, signing off.